Hi, my name is Lauren Thebault, and this summer I worked for Mark by Marc Jacobs in New York City, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my internship there. So, a little background on Mark by Marc Jacobs. It is a subset of Marc Jacobs International, and it's a clothing and accessory company for both men and women. It was founded in 1984 by Marc Jacobs and Robert Duffy, and Robert Duffy sort of outlined 10 guidelines for the mission of the company, and a few that I found to be most important was to be a fashion leader, not a follower, to be current, aware, and connected, to be grateful for our customers, and also to fulfill the goals and objectives set by Marc Jacobs while also maintaining an independent spirit. A little overview of my internship. So I got this internship after I passed along my resume to a family friend who's also in the fashion industry. She then gave my resume to a friend from college who ended up being my supervisor. I worked with the sales team for the ready-to-wear line, and I had very little orientation since I started the week before market, which I'll talk about later in the presentation. Things were very hectic and chaotic in the office since they were all getting ready for market, so I was sort of just thrown into the mix, and it actually provided for a very exciting start. So as I said before, I worked with the sales team for the ready-to-wear line. I worked directly with my supervisor, Courtney, but also helped out with the entire team, which consisted of 8 other people, both in men's and women's ready-to-wear, and there were also 2 other interns who I worked with. The internship provided for a better understanding of the fashion industry as well as sales. I also learned how important Excel and PowerPoint are and got to learn how to use Blue Cherry, which is the program that the company uses to place their sales orders. Next, I'll talk about some of my learning objectives. Since I've been thinking that I would like to make a career in the fashion industry, it was very important for me this summer to gain a further understanding and insight into the fashion industry through this internship. And I also wanted to see whether sales was a department that I would want to pursue in the fashion industry or whether I would like to take another path within the industry. Meeting these objectives was fairly easy since I was constantly in the office overhearing and observing all of the employees' actions. I did not get to sit in on as many meetings or hear any calls really, in order to gain a deeper understanding of exactly what was taking place and like the transactions between the sales office and the buyers. But I definitely heard a lot and learned a lot and was exposed to a lot of new information. And next I'll talk about some of the challenges that I faced this summer. So the first week was market week, and we worked almost 12 hours a day for about a week straight with meetings all throughout the day. And since it was my first week working there, I kind of was nervous that it was going to be these long hours and these extremely busy days throughout the whole summer, but it turned out to only last about a week. It was a lot of work, and it sometimes got frustrating because the interns mainly handled the models, and we were not able to see much of the buying side, which is something that really interests me. And so occasionally we would be out in the showroom and you got to see what was going on between the sales team and the buyers, but for the most part we were handling just the models in the sample closet. It was also difficult working with not only the women's team but also the men's team for ready-to-wear. At times we were dealing with 3 different seasons of product, and it was extremely difficult to keep track of the different items and keep everything organized and in place, and we often worked off of line sheets which were just based on pictures, and pictures often didn't match or look exactly like what the actual item and product looked like. So it was very frustrating and time consuming at times to find the correct item. And often you would be on a time crunch, so they would need to send out the product immediately and you couldn't always find it. It was also difficult working with the changing pace of the office. Often the mornings were extremely quiet and the interns would have little to do, and then late afternoons would get extremely busy and we would end up needing to stay late to help them with all the products and pulling all the necessary items. I did learn a lot about the fashion industry through this internship, and I think that it's an industry I could see myself working in. However, I would not like to pursue a career in the sales industry. I think that I'd be much more interested in the buying industry. And it was a great experience and I learned a lot, but I'm not set on only working in the fashion industry after so much exposure and really gaining a deeper understanding of what it's all about. The summer before this, I worked at a small startup company and really liked the atmosphere that was not as corporate, and sort of gave everyone an equal opportunity to learn as much and included everyone in projects, and it was much more hands-on. And that is all I have for you. So thank you so much for watching this, and have a great night.